Juliana Chalispa, and this is Patriots Must Rise. What happened to the money that Congress promised for infrastructure? Where is the money that that was donated to BLM? And why is it that we never actually see any evidence of people getting sick with this talk of new illnesses every election year? I don't have the answers to everything, but I can tell you this. A really good example of what's happening with the money for infrastructure is seen every day in the military. When a soldier that's out on maneuvers opens up an MRE, he is given a $20 meal. A $20 meal that you can basically buy for $6 at Winco. Because of the fact that their government contracts, the contractors inflate the cost of production for these meals. The government knows that, and the contractors get away with it. In Vancouver, Washington, we received a lot of money to improve our public transportation. CTRAN, the public transportation system, told the federal government that they would be buying 8 more buses, and they needed money to upgrade the bus stops because the buses were extended and they needed to accommodate for that. It took them a year of not working on a single stop for months on end to even get the bus stops ready. When they finally opened up, they didn't buy any new buses. They took the existing buses from one stop or from an already established upgraded bus route and cut them in half and put them on the new bus route. What happened to the money? Okay. In this particular scenario, they took out half of the bus stops on the route, which is going to open up all kinds of ADA compliancy lawsuits in the future in order to accommodate for the appearance. They sold the taxpayer on the levy by saying that the buses will be running every 15 minutes. Not only is this the most unreliable bus route in Vancouver, 15 minutes that they were selling in order to get the taxpayers to agree to the heightened property taxes into 30 minutes to an hour. And there's nowhere in between. 15 minutes is a pipe dream. The citizens that ride the bus are very unhappy unless they're retired and they don't actually have to go anywhere on a schedule, because the bus system is so unreliable. So where'd the money go? Did it go into irresponsible spending for the project, in inflated contractor costs, which is very likely? Did it line the pockets of the ranking members of CTRAN? I don't know. But stuff like this is being seen happening all over the country. Portland, Oregon opened up FX line, which is another extended bus line. Basically, the length of two standard buses put together. And once again, they had to tear up the streets and put in these state-of-the-art bus stops and stuff that don't protect anybody from the rain. It's all about art. And they put in these obnoxious pillars that serve no function practically. But what they do, and I can tell you this from experience because I am visually impaired, is they make the vehicles passing by it sound like they are much closer than they actually are. And you don't necessarily know when they actually passed you. So blind citizens are getting hit because of visual aesthetics. What happened to the money? Now, FX in Portland actually is a rather efficient bus system. They did a much better job putting it together than CTRAN did. But I have to bring up the fact that they didn't put any money into R&D. They didn't put any money into the impact that it would take on the disabled that would be affected by it. It was all about what looks good. Which is interesting because, like any liberal city, Portland, Oregon is infested with homeless. And it's not homeless that are native to the area. It's homeless that are coming in to the city in order to receive the benefits that the city is offering. They even tried enticing these people to come in by saying that they would receive $1,000 a month for being homeless. That didn't pass, but they tried to do it. The idea was to get them, essentially like the illegal aliens, to vote Democrat. So, like I said, I don't have any answers. But we are seeing major deficits in what was promised in the infrastructure bill for each of these cities for infrastructure and what is actually being spent. In Chicago, the failing subway system has needed upgrades for over 50 years. They started projects, but those projects came to a halt. New York, the same way. So, since this is an election year, it might be actually a good idea to pose the questions to those that want to be elected as to what happened to the multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill, to the money that has already been distributed to these cities, and how come there is no accountability? It is not the responsibility of the federal government to upkeep these cities. It never has been. It is the responsibility of the citizens of those cities. This was an overreach of authority, and it comes with strings attached. Nobody should ever be accepting any money from the federal government at all. In fact, we should not be paying taxes to the federal government at all. Individual state defense should be up to the state, not the federal government. The worst thing that had ever happened in the history of America was the Confederation of States. The uniting of the states for the, by the way, according to the Federalist Papers, the sole reason that you would want to unite the states is to defend our borders. Since we have no borders, according to the Democrats, we have no reason for a federal government, we have no reason for Congress, and we definitely have no reason for an impotent president that probably should have been put in the grave 50 years ago. Anyway, just some questions that I wanted to pose. And I pray that the people listening to this podcast do start asking these questions to the elected officials and the candidates for those elected offices. considering this is an election year. Where's the accountability for our tax money? That bill is debt that's going to be inherited by our grandkids. And if that doesn't piss you off, it certainly should. This is something that we should be banding together to with the torches and pitchforks and storming the castle. Because ultimately the responsibility of the national debt falls on the citizens, not those that unfortunately have the power of the purse. Because we don't hold them accountable, they are not being held accountable. When are we going to start? I'm Anatoly Anatolisva, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Until next time, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ has loved you.